It seems like everyone is just getting ahead, living their best life, and getting wealthier while you feel like you are firmly stuck where you're at and going nowhere. Well, the truth is, people are faking wealth, and it's not just celebrity guys. It's family members and maybe your coworker sitting next to you are doing it too. Some of this is just utterly ridiculous and outrageous, and some of it's just honestly going to make you guys really mad. So I'll show you exactly how people are faking wealth, because there's an entire secret industry fueling all of it in the background, and prove to you that you are not exactly stuck or falling behind like it kind of feels like you are because of this entire industry. Now, I believe personally everybody can have financial freedom and retire early despite all the lies that you've been told, which of course we're going to expose some of those lies today. Just make sure you're subscribed to this channel because they don't want you knowing any of this information, and I want you to be completely free from all the garbage that's out there. So the first way people are faking wealth is with fake cars. I started off with this one because it's the one that's kind of the most common, that I think most people kind of know, because a lot of things have been exposed over the years. Even when if you guys are old enough to remember MTV Cribs, what came out after that show was a lot of people were showing off 5, 10, 15 different exotic cars. And it turned out in reality, they had rented the vast majority of them to look even wealthier than what they already were. Yes, they were wealthy, but they were renting these cars to show that they had much greater luxury and much greater wealth than they actually had. Well, it worked back then, and it's still working today, as people are actually renting vehicles to actually show that, hey, I just bought my new Rolls Royce, I just bought my new Lamborghini, whatever the car is. People are renting cars to show it as if they actually purchased the vehicle. They're showing it in videos, TikTok videos, photographs on Instagram. It is everywhere. And it's not just at that influencer level too. There are average everyday people who make a living and are trying to grow a following, trying to become an influencer by taking pictures in front of other people's cars. The first few times I witnessed it, I thought it was really strange and kind of weird, and I just thought, well, maybe people want to take pictures with cars. But what I've actually found out is people are actually passing this off to friends and families as if it is their vehicle. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. But yes, I witness it more and more now, where especially when you walk past a nice car out in the middle of a city street or something like that, or in a parking lot, you will see people walk up to it and pose on it all the time. And then you guys wonder why I'm cheap and I just drive a cheap used car. Man, what's the point in having a freaking Ferrari if people are just gonna walk up to it, take pictures, sit on it, lay on it, etc., trying to pass it off as their own? It's ridiculous, it's utterly crazy, but it's a part of the world today. So don't fall into that trap whenever you see somebody with a great car, but yet they kind of have a questionable job. Even if it's friends and family, it's probably not actually theirs in the first place. They're either renting it or they're just taking a picture in front of a cool car, then trying to pass it off as their own. The second way people are faking their wealth is with fake trips. Now, I'm going to preface this one a little bit here with, I'm not saying people aren't going on a lot of these trips, but there's actually a strategy to taking a 2-week trip to, you pick your place, Bali per se, whatever you want to choose, Europe. And what they'll actually do is they'll actually have multiple stops in between, set up actual layovers to where they can get in and out of the airport and take pictures at all these other exotic locations. And they'll take hundreds of pictures, hundreds of videos, take vlogs and everything else, and then release those as separate trips just a month later. So it seems like they spend 2 weeks in London, then 2 weeks in Paris, then 2 weeks here and 2 weeks there, when the reality is it was all just a 2-week trip altogether, where all they did was get on and off planes and trains and everything else, take a whole bunch of pictures, a whole bunch of video, just to get right back on the train and do it again some other place to make it seem like they're on vacation every 2 weeks, when the reality is they're not. It was just a 2-week vacation that, to me, doesn't sound like much of a vacation at all. And yes, that includes walking into the lobby of lots of fancy hotels and lots of fancy dinners and things of that nature to not actually eat dinner, to actually just grab a drink or something like that in that restaurant, or just to say they're staying in that particular hotel when they're actually not. There are so many different ways to manipulate this, guys. It's not even funny, but that is absolutely what is going on, and that trend is growing. It's not getting smaller. That trend is actually growing in regards to fake vacations. And no, again, it's not just people that are celebrities that are doing this or influencers that are doing this. There are people who have family members that are doing the exact same thing. Number 3, not flying on private jets or even first class. This is one, again, I have actually witnessed personally. I have been sitting up in first class and I had somebody sit down next to the empty seat that was next to me and start trying to film and shoot photos and everything else, which of course I immediately interrupted and was like, excuse me, is that your seat? Can you please show me your ticket? And they immediately left and did it in another section of first class to somebody else who I guess didn't bother them. but I just shrugged it off as that was weird. Who the heck would ever want to pretend like they're in first class? Well, apparently there's an entire industry built around that, an entire followings built around somebody who's flying in the back of the plane, but likes to walk up to first class where inevitably there's always empty seats, especially on some of the longer haul flights, and pretend like they're actually up there. But it gets even better than that. There are actual businesses that actually have fake private jet lounges for you to take pictures in, take videos in, and they look pretty good. So it looks like you're sitting at the back of a private jet taking pictures, sipping on champagne. They have all that stuff available for you to basically just do social media posts from your private jet that is actually just a set in a warehouse somewhere. That's right, they're not flying private at all. They're literally driving to a warehouse, paying $80 and taking an hour's worth of photos and videos and other things in these fake sets that are set up to make it look like you're flying in a private jet, but you're not. And guys, these aren't small companies doing this or little, niche type companies out there doing it. There are some big companies out there pitching memberships and private clubs and other things like that where they're set up with entire spaces that show a fake lifestyle in order for you to shoot content from while you're kind of at the airport and going into a lounge, or while you're in a particular, area. So they have their main service over here that they're offering. That's a pretty good deal. But then you can also use all their space and all these different setups and backgrounds and podcast studios and everything else to show that you're living this lifestyle to go along with that. And number 4, people are faking their looks. All right, guys, we all know this one. People have, fake hair, fake nails, all kinds of other fake things like that in regards to their looks. Right now they got great filters on these phones to where you can make yourself look a lot younger, or just a little bit buffer, maybe a little bit tanner, whatever the case is like that. We all kind of know that that's going on there, but people are taking this to the next level to make it seem like they are doing better than what they are. And no, guys, this isn't exclusive to the girls. The guys are doing exactly the same exact thing. So an example of this is people are acting like they have all these fancy clothes and they're buying all these fancy clothes, and they are actually going into the store and buying these clothes. They are actually ordering them online, whatever the case is. But they're coming in, they're taking pictures, taking videos, some cases even going out in the clothes, but they're concealing and taping up where the tags are and everything else so they can just turn right around and return the thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of clothes and handbags and shoes and everything else that they bought to those stores, so that way they don't have to actually purchase them. It's become such a problem that a lot of stores have implemented policies of tracking customers who are doing this so they can then ban those customers from buying their stuff. That doesn't mean 1 or 2 people are doing it. That means a lot of people are doing it. And it's not just clothing and other things like that. It goes across the spectrum from electronics to all kinds of other gadgets and gizmos, to even watches. Like I said, guys, that includes you. People are buying Rolexes, wearing them, taking all this content, being super careful with the watch, obviously, and then returning it a few days later for a full refund. But then it looks like they have this giant watch collection or whatever the case is, when the reality was they bought it all on a credit card and then they returned it all so they didn't even have to pay the bill. This is not going to get better. This is only going to get worse as time moves on. But the important key takeaway from all this is you are not as poor as you think. Keep making your strides, keep building your wealth, keep doing all the things that we talk about on this channel in order to get there for real, not fake, for real. And that's how you end up winning at this game long term. No need to fake it. Because the reality is the entire system is set up to keep you working forever. I want you to not have to do that anymore. So make sure you're subscribed so that way you get that content so they don't keep it away from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.